You're listening to the Simplified CEO, the podcast that shows you business does not have to be complicated. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's show you how you can get success in every area of your life the simpler way. Just before we jump into today's episode, I have to give today's sponsor a shout out. Now, you know, here on Simplified CEO, we are all about the simple life in business. And I know one of the main areas every entrepreneur wishes was simpler was the bookkeeping. Well, it can be with today's sponsor, Xero. This is an accounting software I have used for years, and honestly, it's made it so easy for me to keep a track of everything. It automates manual tasks, meaning I'm not losing hours to admin, and it can be done from anywhere using their fantastic mobile app. So if you're looking for a simpler way to keep on top of your bookkeeping, go and check out Xero today using the link in the show notes below for a special offer. Now let's get back to today's episode. Welcome back to the Simplified CEO, the podcast for ambitious women who want to build six-figure businesses in 20 hours a week. I am Claire, your host, and I'm living proof that you can create spacious success without sacrificing what matters most. After building a six-figure business working just 20 hours a week, I'm doing it all again, and I'm here to share the strategies that create intentional integration, where success enhances your life, not consumes it. Now, today we're diving into one of the most controversial topics in business, niching. And I am going to be brutally honest with you about my own journey with this word, because for years I absolutely hated it. Like literally, it was a swear word for me. And I hated when anyone would bring it up in conversations because it felt controlling and limiting and just frankly unnecessary to me. Now, let me paint you a picture. It's 2015. I'm in my first year of my first business, my bookkeeping practice, and I'm sitting in yet another industry networking event where someone is telling me I need to niche down. My immediate response? An internal eye roll so dramatic it could have powered a small village. But Claire, they'd say, you need to be known for the one thing. And I'd think, oh, well, like every business needs bookkeeping, right? That is my one thing. What more do you want? Sound familiar? I fought against niching with the passion of someone defending like their last piece of chocolate. I had every excuse in the book. I don't want to put myself in a box. What if I get bored? I'll lose potential clients. My business is different. And the business grew, right? While a lot of my peers were niching into specific industries, I was for everyone and anyone who valued bookkeeping and needed support in this area. I thought, I've proven that niching isn't required for success. I'd fought and I'd won. Now, fast forward a decade, and when launching my coaching and mentoring business, of course, the questions came up again. What is your niche? There I was again with the eye roll, but this time with the added bonus of my prior non-niched success. And so I gleefully carried on being able to help everyone with any of their problems in their business. And for months I resisted. I kept my messaging broad, my services general, and my ideal client description so vague, honestly, it could have applied to half the population. And you know what happened? Nothing. My business stayed exactly where it was. It was stuck at that frustrating, just ticking over plateau. Yes, I was winning some clients, but not nearly as many as I had hoped for or expected, honestly. The results I was getting were great with the few that had moved towards me, but it was a struggle. And honestly, it just felt painful at times to find those leads. The irony is, in my rebellion against niching, I had actually niched myself into the most crowded, noisy corner of the market. That I help everyone with everything corner. And let me tell you, that's not a fun place to be. There are so many coaches and mentors out there, especially since COVID. There's been a real boom in entrepreneurship, and I wasn't standing out like at all. I was just one of the thousands with no strong message or reason to be chosen over anyone else. Now, I want to normalize the resistance you might be feeling right now because I was there, right? I spent most of last year in complete denial about this whole niching thing. My thought process went something like, I have helped every industry going in my first business, and I know that I can help anyone again with this new business. But here's what was really happening beneath the surface, and I'm going to be really vulnerable with you here. I was terrified, right? Terrified that if I chose one thing, I'd choose wrong. Terrified that I'd miss out on opportunities, that I wasn't actually good enough at any one thing to make it my whole identity. The word niche felt like a straitjacket, like so limiting and restrictive and boring, even. I remember having a conversation with my business mentor where I said, "Oh, but what if I niche and realize I really hate it? Or my ideal clients are boring, or I run out of things to say?" And they asked me a question that stopped me in my tracks. Well, how's the current approach going for you? And the answer was really uncomfortable because it wasn't. My marketing was scattered, my messaging was confusing even to me, and I was attracting clients who weren't quite right. I was the business equivalent of like a Swiss Army knife. Like, I'm technically useful, but never the first tool anyone actually reached for when they really need something specific. And that's when I realized something crucial. Not niching isn't actually freedom, it's chaos disguised as choice. But despite this realization, I still fought the process. I niched a little bit, then a bit more, but never fully committing enough for any of it to mean anything. The real moment of everything changing for me happened during a particularly frustrating day. It was about 6 months ago, and I'd had three discovery calls in a row on this day. And while they were all really lovely people, none of them felt like my people. I was sitting at the home office, staring at my laptop screen, and I asked myself a question that actually would completely transform my business. If I could bring together 100 of my absolute ideal clients into one room, who would they be? Now, I have quite a passion for those gorgeous old, National Trust properties, the ones with the sweeping staircases and the gilded ballrooms that like take your breath away. I love nothing more than whiling away a weekend discovering these stunning spaces. So when I close my eyes and really visualize this, I imagine this stunning ballroom with crystal chandeliers and ornate moldings, mirrored walls and gold gilding everywhere. Basically, think like Marie Antoinette vibes. But here's the key, right? I wasn't just imagining the room, I was imagining the people. Who were those 100 people I'd want to spend an entire evening with? What would they have in common? What would they be talking about at their networking drinks? What challenges would they be sharing over the canapes? What dreams would they be discussing as they moved around this beautiful space? And as I sat there, really thinking about this, something magical happened. These people started to come into focus. They were business owners like me, but more specifically, they were women. They'd started their businesses for freedom and flexibility, but had somehow found themselves trapped in a different kind of prison. One made of packed diaries and scattered energy and the constant feeling that they should be working more to earn more. They were the women standing by the floor to ceiling windows with a champagne in hand, saying things like, "I thought building a business would give me more time with my family, but I'm working more hours than I ever did in corporate. And I know I should be grateful for my success, but I'm not actually enjoying it, any of it. And I'm earning good money, but I feel like my business owns me instead of the other way around." These were women who valued both success and life. They didn't want to choose between income and time with their children. They didn't want to choose between building something meaningful and being present for the important moments. They were multi passionate, yes, but they were all united by one core desire: to build profitable businesses that enhance their lives rather than consume them. And suddenly I could see exactly what the key to the room would be, what would entice all 100 of these amazing women to come together. It's the promise of spacious success, the mythology from creating six-figure income without sacrificing what mattered most. It's the framework for intentional integration. And in that moment, I had like my niche revelation. And what it wasn't what I expected. Niching isn't about limiting yourself, it's about becoming magnetic to the right people. Think about it this way: when you try to appeal to everybody, you appeal to no one. But when you become that exact solution for the specific group of people, you become irreplaceable to them. And here's the truth that took me far too long to accept. No matter how much you fight it, you have to be known for one thing. The market will niche you whether you do it intentionally or not. The only difference is whether you are in control of that process. When I finally embraced my niche, helping ambitious women build six-figure businesses in 20-hour weeks through intentional integration, everything changed. My messaging became crystal clear. My content started resonating really deeply with my audience. My ideal clients started finding me instead of me chasing them. My income increased and I felt so much more at peace with it. And decisions are easier to make now as I have a really clear and defined mission. And here's what's beautiful about properly niching. Once those 100 women are in your beautiful ballroom, once they trust you and know that you can solve their core problem, then you can serve them canapes and champagne and whatever else you fancy. Once I started establishing myself as the person for spacious business success, I could expand into areas like the mindset work for CEOs, the systems and automation, the lifestyle integration strategies, and advanced business strategy. But it all started with that one clear key to the room. And do you know what else I realized? Remember that first business where I was so proud that I had fought the need to niche? Well, when I reflected back, I hadn't at all. I had just accidentally, unknowingly fallen into a niche, and it was because of that that the success came. Yes, I had fought again industry niching, but I'd chosen specific softwares that I would use within my firm and became experts in those. And that was what brought clients to us. Unknowingly, I had niched into being an advanced bookkeeping firm using Zero. And I have to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, by the way, Zero. I still use it for all my businesses today. So seriously, go and check it out in the link in the comments. It's the best option out there for small businesses. But anyway, I became known for being an expert in Zero and offering a modern new method of bookkeeping. I became known for one thing. And for over a decade, I had joyfully believed that I'd beaten the niching laws of success. Hindsight's a joy, right? It could have saved me months of agony in this new business if I'd known that. But here's another point I want you to remember because niching grows with the business. Sometimes you just aren't ready to niche, or your original niche needs tweaking or pivoting. I wasn't really ready 18 months ago to niche to where I am now. I needed to work with my clients and understand their pain points more before I could get here. So don't panic if you struggle with it right now. Like, just keep revisiting it and asking the questions, and you will get there. In fact, I want to walk you through this visualization exercise now because it's the one thing that finally made niching click for me. And I've since used it with all of my clients who are stuck in this same resistance that I was. So, close your eyes for a moment. Well, maybe not if you're driving, just pause here and come back when it's safe to do so. But when you're ready, really try to visualize this with me. Imagine the most beautiful event space that you can think of. For me, as I've said, it's always one of those magnificent ballrooms you'll find in a stately home. It's, crystal chandeliers casting warm light across polished floors, tall windows overlooking manicured gardens, elegant moldings framing every surface, but conjure up an image of a space that you would love to spend an evening in. Now, you get to invite 100 people to this space. But here's the crucial part. These aren't just any 100 people. These are 100 people that you would absolutely love to spend an entire evening with. People who energize you and inspire you and who you genuinely want to help. And then ask yourself, who are these people? What do they have in common? What would they be talking about during the cocktail hour? What challenges would they be sharing? What dreams would they be discussing? Why would you want to spend time in this room with them? What would make them all feel like they belong together? And really sit with this. Don't rush to the business implications just yet. Just focus on the people. For me, as I mentioned, I kept seeing women who had started businesses for freedom but felt trapped by their success. Women who were high achievers but felt guilty for wanting both income and lifestyle. You need to really understand these people and what brings them all together. And here's the next crucial question. What would be the key to the room? What single message or promise would entice all of those 100 people to come together in this space? This key, that is your niche. For my ballroom, the key was to learn how to build your six-figure business in 20 hours a week. That one message would fill my room with exactly the right people. So, what's the one hook, the one key that would fill your space with your ideal clients? And once they're in that room, once they trust that you have the solution, then you can serve them everything else. The mindset work or the advanced strategies or the integration, all of it becomes possible because you've established yourself as their trusted guide. But without that clear key, without that specific reason for them to walk through your door into your ballroom stays empty, no matter how beautiful it is. Let me share some practical truths about niching that I wish someone had told me earlier. Your niche doesn't have to be forever. I was so afraid of choosing wrong, but here's what I learned. You can evolve, right? My niche has refined over time. I started really broadly with like work life balance. I moved to systems and automation and eventually have landed on my niche. But each evolution was based on getting clearer about who I really wanted to serve. A smaller engaged audience is infinitely more valuable than a large confused one. I used to think I'd need like 10,000 social media followers to achieve success. But what I realized is without a clear niche, the number doesn't matter. It was far more powerful to have 3,000 followers who know exactly what I stand for and are here for it than 10,000 who aren't connecting, aren't relating, or ready to buy from you. Relevance beats reach every single time. Truth three, niching actually increases your opportunities, not decreases them. When you become known as the person for something, people start referring opportunities to you. I'm now invited to speak at events, collaborate with other business owners, and attract dream clients specifically because I get known for my one clear thing. Truth four, your fear of being boring is probably unfounded. I was terrified my niche would be boring, but actually the opposite happened. When you go deep on one topic, you become infinitely more interesting. You develop unique perspectives, you get that signature framework and original thinking that broad generalists can never achieve. Truth five, the riches really are in the niches. Now, I actually hate this saying, but it's actually true. When you solve a specific problem for specific people, you can charge premium prices. When someone looks at you and what you're offering and thinks that is exactly what I need, and I can see the difference it will make to my life, then you're onto a winner. Being able to show the specific outcome is key and can literally transform your business. So, how do you actually implement this? Now, you've got the ballroom exercise and you want to find your niche. This is how you do it. Step one, get specific about your 100 people. Don't just think business owners or women entrepreneurs. Get granular. What stage of business are they at? What specific challenges keep them awake at night? What do they value most? What are they trying to achieve that they can't figure out on their own? And then step two, identify the common thread. What is the one thing that connects all these people in your ballroom? Is it a specific problem that they all share, a particular outcome they all want, a certain stage of business or life they're all in? Then, step three, craft your key to the room. What is that common thread? What is the message that will make all 100 people think, yes, I need to be there? That becomes your core value proposition. And then, step four, test and refine. Start using your messaging in your marketing and see how it resonates. Are you attracting the right people? Are they engaging? Are they booking calls? Use the market feedback to refine your key. And then step five, go deep, not wide. Once you have your key, resist the urge to hedge your bets with multiple messages. Commit to this one thing for at least 6 months. Become known for it. Develop content around it. Build your reputation on it. Remember, you can always add more services and expand your offerings once people know what you're fundamentally about, but you have to establish that foundation first. Now, before we wrap up, I want to address the fears that might be coming up for you right now because I had all of them. What if I choose wrong? Well, you probably won't, but even if you do, you can pivot. The skills you develop in building authority around one niche transfer to any other niche. Nothing is permanent. What if I get bored? You won't. Like, honestly, when you go deep on serving specific people that you are passionate about, you discover endless layers of complexity and opportunity. And plus, you can always expand once you are established. Another one is, what if I lose potential clients? Well, you may well lose some potential clients, but you'll gain the right ones. And the right clients will pay more, they'll stay longer, and they'll refer more people like them. And finally, what if my niche is too small? Well, if you can identify 100 people who would pay for your solution, your niche is big enough. You don't need millions of people, you just need the right people. The truth is, most of our niche fears are just fear of commitment in disguise. But commitment is what creates breakthrough results in business, just like it does in relationship. And here's what I want you to remember from today's episode. Niching isn't about limiting yourself. It's about becoming magnetic to the right people. It's about creating a clear key to your beautiful ballroom so your ideal clients know exactly why they belong there. My journey taught me that you might already be niching without realizing it, like I did with my bookkeeping practice. But in today's crowded market, especially post COVID, with the explosion of entrepreneurs and coaches, you need to be much more intentional about your positioning. It took me like 12 months to get clear on my niche in this business, and I fought against the word niching like it was a swear word. But once I did the ballroom visualization earlier this year and really got specific about who I wanted to help, everything clicks into place. So, your homework this week is to do that exercise. Really visualize those 100 people. Get specific about who they are, what they need, and what would bring them all together. Don't be afraid to get as specific. The more specific you can get, the more magnetic that you become. And remember, your niche should feel like coming home, both for you and for your ideal clients. It should be something that you are genuinely excited to talk about day after day, and something that makes your people think, finally, someone who gets it. So, if you're ready to dive deeper into this work and discover your own pathway to six-figure success in 20-hour weeks, come and follow me on Instagram at cs_Bartlett. It's where ambitious women like you learn to build businesses that enhance your lives. It's exactly what I achieved in my first business and what I am passionate about helping you create too. And remember, success should not be suffocating, it should feel spacious. When you get your niche right, everything else becomes easier, just like it did for me when I finally stopped fighting the process and embraced the clarity. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Simplified CEO. I will see you next week for another dose of spacious business strategy. But for now, don't forget to subscribe to the Simplified CEO. And if this episode has helped you see niching in a new light, please share it with another ambitious woman who needs to hear this message. You can find all of the resources from today's show in the show notes, and I would love to hear about your ballroom visualization over on Instagram. Until next time, keep building your spacious success and have a wonderful week. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you are ready to make your life simpler, then don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Xero, the accounting software that is ready to supercharge your business by automating routine tasks, giving you quick access to your financial data, and helping you get paid up to twice as fast using their online invoice payments. So if you are ready for a simpler way to keep on top of your bookkeeping, go check out Xero today. Get their special offer using the link in the show notes below.